All right, kids. Happy Wednesday. It's the Rants of Izzo show here on Spreey Media. Did you guys go to Spreely.com yet and start your social media page over on Spreely, where you can speak freely, talk about all the things you want without ever worrying about being censored? If you haven't, go over to Spreely.com. There's a ton of shit you could do, like read news articles. You can check out other shows like the Burn Pit podcast. You got the Burn Pit Gents today. They are live Mondays at 4 p.m. Eastern. Great time to go check them out. Never know what you're going to get. Never know what fuck Matt's going to say is going to get them protests outside the studio. I don't want to listen to this shit. When you're on Spreely.com, make sure if you're doing it from your phone, you download Freedom Hub, the app that makes you allows you to get all this shit from your phone. So Spreely.com is your one-stop shop for all things important in life. Simple as that. Support the show. Remember, we are 100% listener and viewer supported. Go ahead and buy my book, Before the Badge. Everything you need to know before you become a cop. It's available at Barnes & Noble, Words Matter Publishing, and .com, wordsmatterpublishing.com, and Amazon. Before the Badge. Everything you need to know before you become a cop. All right. You want to be part of the chat? You got something you got to say? Go to Telegram. The Rants of Izzo show chat is up and available, and we love seeing you guys in there. Let me see who's in there now. Without my glasses. Sarah's in there. Bev is in there. I know April Schoen will be in there in a second. Amy Stancombe, what's going on? Kelly Wilson. Yeah. All that great stuff. Okay, we have a lot of stuff going on today. All right, just under 1 minute. We're going to be live on Spreey TV. If you are listening on the podcast version, welcome. I'm glad you guys could join any time of day you want. It's awesome. Technology. All right, hang on a second. All right, 30 seconds, we're live. Rants of Izzo show here on Spreely Media. Appreciate you joining. You could be other places, but then you'd be stupid. So don't go other places. Happy Wednesday. Welcome. Smoke if you got them. I just had a cigar. I feel nice and relaxed.
Prepare yourself.
The opinions of the host and guests on this show are exclusively just that, opinions. That means that they shouldn't be the cause of your state of being offended. Why does everybody get so butthurt?
Okay, let's go. Ready, go!
Sit down, shut up, and pay attention.
Damn!
This is the Rants of Izzo Show with your hosts, Dominick Izzo, from porn to politics. We touch every third rail we can find. You might want to put your headphones on so your mom can't hear this. It's been called the most entertaining 60 minutes on the internet, and it starts now. Let's do this.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the Rants of Izzo show here on Spreely Media. Hopefully you see value in what we bring every day. You know, because it's what we do. We talk about some fun shit, educate, engage, enlighten you, maybe get your head out of your ass so you don't wind up swallowing news stories and just believing them arbitrarily. It's so dumb. Got the Burn Pit podcast gents joining today. What's going on? How are you boys doing?
What's up, Dominick? How are you?
I don't know. 202 area code is texting me. How are you? Oh, do you ever get these weird fucking people out of nowhere who text you and then you respond and then there's an Asian broad who pops up and says, "Hi, you remember me, Lisa?" You don't have that problem?
You respond to those?
All the time. All the time. I spread my cheeks and send them, what's up. All right, here's new. I want to talk about something else today, because we normally talk about politics and everything. I do want to open up with this trending, stupid story. Get your guys' views on that, but there's a different issue I want to talk about that we weren't live last week, were we?
Yeah, we were.
I don't even remember. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we came with a T-shirt. Fuck you and your apologies. Yeah. FBI agents who raided President Trump's home in 2022 were instructed to prepare to use, quote, deadly force while executing the search warrant. Meanwhile, it's the left that is whining Trump is going to get his political enemies killed if he wins. The Mar-a-Lago raid was personally signed off by Attorney General Merrick Garland. According to newly unsealed documents, apparently this came out in discovery, agents were allowed to use, quote, deadly force only when necessary. The FBI brought medical and paramedics with them on the raid and listed a nearby trauma center in case of emergency. I don't know if you guys saw this. I want to read Article 4 in what this discovery says. According to an operations order produced in discovery, the FBI believed its objective for the Mar-a-Lago raid was to seize classified information. U.S. government records describe in the search warrant. The order contained a policy statement regarding use of force, which stated, for example, quote, law enforcement officers of the Department of Justice may use deadly force when necessary. Ellipsis, close quote. Why are conservatives stupid? Why are they going around now saying that deadly force, which is allowed to be used in all police circumstances? I was municipal, so I don't know what county was. I don't know what state was or federal. Clearly, this is federal. Deadly force when using a search warrant. Didn't matter if you were going in for financial crime. There could be somebody on the other end of that wall or that door when you breach it that says, I don't want to go to jail today. They could produce a weapon. Deadly force would need to effect the arrest, to terminate life-threatening behavior. Why are conservatives so fucking stupid that they have to now play the same game as the left and say, they were trying to assassinate Trump? I don't know if you guys saw this yet or have a viewpoint, but this is really stupid.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I was just going to say that domestic call 911 calls are actually, at least they are in Pittsburgh, that they end up in some type of physical confrontation. So to your point, yes, all law enforcement to be ready to use so this is another aspect of how the everybody in the country, including the right now, because as I said before in multiple podcasts we've had, in this country, collectively speaking, has moved further to the left. Everybody. And that goes when it comes to your psychological standpoint. Like, the conservatives are so demoralized and brainwashed to where they're believing everything, and they do absolutely. They don't try and figure anything out for themselves. They'll take whatever clickbait news story there is, and they'll just believe it, and they'll share it. And to your point, oh, they're trying to assassinate Trump. But they're fucking idiots. And this is all theater, in my opinion. Because who's the FBI director, Dominic? Do you know who the FBI director is?
No, not since the tall 6'9" guy got ousted. I don't remember who it was.
James Comey.
No, James Comey's. Yeah, that's who.
Ray.
Okay.
Comey was the 6'8" guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's who appointed Christopher Wray to the FBI?
Wouldn't that be Trump for my final answer?
That's exactly correct.
Oh.
So this is a guy who appointed Christopher Wray, director of the FBI, and he was bitching about him under his own administration. And Donald Trump, at will, has the authority at his own discretion to fire or remove Christopher Wray. He never did. This is all theater. It's all bullshit. Donald Trump never spent one fucking second in handcuffs. Donald Trump never spent one fucking second in a jail cell. And Donald Trump is making money off of this fiasco, selling T-shirts of his mugshot, selling coffee mugs of his mugshot, selling fucking playing cards for $100 a piece. And these fucking conservative, neocon, pathetic boomer fucking Republicans are buying this shit up. This is all a big joke on both sides. The entire political scene is a joke, and anybody who believes all this, it's all victimization, because whoever is the greatest victim becomes the most popular. And if you victimize somebody, everyone feels sorry for them and want to support them more. Donald Trump now is the quote-unquote victim in this presidential election, and he'll be elected as I predicted. Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, I agree with you, man.
Wait, Scotty, hang on a second. I came prepared today.
Sir.
I came prepared today. Yeah. We're gonna start. We're gonna let Matt out of the cage and fucking make sure that he's recognized. All right, continue, Scott. We don't deserve the applause. He does.
Yes, I agree with my co-host of the Burn Pit podcast. This is all political theater, and Donald Trump is preying on his own base. He's manipulating them, and he's doing a hell of a job too, because as Matt said, he's selling coffee cups, he's selling T-shirts. You see these ads pop up now on YouTube, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, where you have this billionaire and his family, his daughter, his sons, out there begging for shekels, saying, hey, please, $5. Please donate $5 to the Trump campaign. 10. I know it's a hard economy, but if you would just give us some money, it's sad to see, actually. And as Matt so eloquently put it, these conservatives are cuck-servatives. They don't do any research for themselves. They see these clickbait headlines and they just run with it without actually doing the research for themselves.
How do we not see this coming? He's the P.T. Barnum of our time. He got stakes, he's going to put his name on it. Hotels, put his name on it. Education, put his name on it. TV show, put his name. Why is this a surprise to people? More so conservatives. Why do conservatives think he is the white knight of they're not coming for him. They're coming for you, and he's standing in their way. No, he's not. No, he's not. This guy's making money off everything.
The conservative base, the Republican base, enjoys the rhetoric, because for years and years and years, they've had to deal with people like President Bush or John McCain, that the moment you called them a bad name, the moment you called them racist, the moment you called them a homophobe, they'd roll over, they show their belly, they apologize, sorry, or a Mitt Romney, you name it. They just would roll over and they would apologize, and the Republicans for years have just compromised and compromised and compromised. So when you hear a guy like Harry Reid, who's deceased now, but Chuck Schumer say, hey, we got to compromise, or Nancy Pelosi say we got to compromise, all that means to me is the Republicans have to give in to the Democrats and give them what they want. And Trump's rhetoric, for once, amongst the Republicans, he's not apologized. Everything from the comments he made, he was sitting there with, if you remember the Frank Luntz, who is a conservative pollster, that it was sitting on a stage with Trump in the very early beginnings of the 2015 campaign. And Trump made the comment at this town hall, he said, about John McCain, he said, I like my war heroes that weren't captured.
Yeah.
And Frank Luntz said, hey, do you want to apologize for that? And Trump said, no, I'm not going to apologize.
Oh, you guys are freezing up today. No. Just when. This is for behind the scenes people. Actually, you can see what's going on. Just when we get awesome, just content going through the pipeline here on the Rants of Izzo show, the gents freeze up. But, that's technological issues. It's Mercury retrograde continuing somewhere. I don't know what it is, but it is. So as we are continuing with the glitches here on the Rants of Izzo show, because we have a great concept. If you can't fix it, feature it. Oh, there we go. Look at that. We're getting there. Audio isn't hooked up yet. We're getting there.
No.
Now we got you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, I don't care.
It's what is that Mercury retrograde thing?
No, dude. Nobody watches the show anyway, so we don't care. fucking one. Oh, man. Yeah, one listen. My mother wouldn't even listen to the show. Yeah, you're good.
But we're good now. I'll continue on the rant here, but you see, there's a lesson to be learned there actually in politics is you never apologize. You always double down. That's something that Democrats always do. They never apologize for anything. So Trump took he took a page out of their playbook, including, if you remember the Elizabeth Warren thing, he's in he's speaking at a podium, and he goes, Pocahontas, and there was a female reporter in the audience. She goes, "That's offensive." He goes, "Oh, really? Pocahontas?" And he doubles down. That's a lesson to learn. So the rhetoric is there. The rhetoric is what they like. And when he says things like, "When they're coming after me, they're really coming after you." Yeah. This is all a political theater. This is all that is. To Matt's point.
It's an act, because his policies and actions, unfortunately, don't reflect anything that would much money as Obama in 4 years as Obama did in 8. He let almost as many illegals in the country in 4 years as Obama did in 8. He allowed the Constitution to be violated more than any president in the entire 20th and 21st century.
Red flag laws.
Red flag laws he did more gun control than Obama did. He supported red flag laws. He come up publicly and said under his ATF, under his direction, this is gun. This guy is actually the most liberal Republican that I know of in all of American history. Of course, he doesn't come off that way because of Con Inc., which is conservative incorporated media, will not put these stories out. They will not touch on everything that I just mentioned. They prop him up to be the savior, the golden calf, the false idol. And that's what people cling to, because everyone is such a cunt and they're idol worshipers that they will never lift a finger to save the country or even try and talk about saving the country. They'd rather just vote for a savior, a golden calf, a false idol.
For the entire time he's been in the public eye.
Yep.
For the history that he's been in the public eye going back to the 80s.
Popular.
The guy was known as really a New York liberal. He was in their club. He was on Oprah back in the early 90s or late 80s, and she was saying, "Do you think you'll ever run for president someday?" I mean, he was in that club. He invited Bill and Hillary Clinton to his wedding. There's pictures of them there.
He was on Epstein's plane over 7 times, all documented on flight logs. Bill Clinton was on Epstein's plane as well, and then both of them say, "Oh, I never went to the island." Okay, right, whatever, buddy. It's just all a joke. He hung out with Maxwell and Epstein. He had dealings with all these billionaires. Again, the number one financier to his presidential campaign was Sheldon Adelson, who's a billionaire casino magnate. He does the bidding of all of his financiers and lobbying groups.
He even said that he's donated to Chuck Schumer's campaign before.
And Hillary Clinton,
right.
Supported Hillary Clinton, said she'd make a great president.
This is all a show.
It's all a show.
Open your eyes and understand that this is all theater, and it's all to keep the masses. That's the divide and conquer strategy. It's to keep the masses focused on something. Hey, look what this hand's doing while this hand's doing something else.
As long as people still believe in the Republican-Democrat paradigm as if it makes sense, then we're fucked. Because no one cares about the American paradigm, the American constitutional way towards freedom and liberty. You think it's just all Democrat and Republican, which is why you'll never see a libertarian candidate or any party candidate come up to be voted on. It's always going to be a Republican and
you got
Democrat.
RFK. You got RFK.
No, fuck him. We can go that direction. I don't know if you heard what he had to say recently. On a podcast. I don't know if this is a podcast or it was just an open mic or whatnot. RFK Jr., who I do not understand the idiocy of I don't like who the left is running. I don't like who the right is running. Oh, here comes RFK out of nowhere talking about vaccines and one issue which I do not think that the powers that be are going to be dumb enough to try to do another pandemic. I just don't. Because it's like that hand was played. But because he said, this is what my views are on the vaccine, everybody flocks to him. Everything you just said about Trump kind of alludes to the fact that there's a big good old boys club, right? And they're all, I don't know, Bohemian Grove or Trump's backyard or whatnot. And they go, hey, listen, in 10 years, we're going to need you to run for office. And we're going to need you to be the bad guy. And then 10 years after that, after everything's dust is settled, we'll go back to whatever. All right, I could play that role for a while. Yeah, I could fucking do it. They're orchestrating this behind closed doors. You don't think the Kennedy family does the same fucking thing? RFK, JFK, JFK Jr., Maria Shriver, fucking Ted Kennedy, the ginger-haired one who's a Democrat now. RFK, well, his family hates him. His family came out and condemned him. Really? You don't think that the family behind the scenes is saying, Robert, it's your turn. We're going to go out and do this. Here's his statement on reparations, $5 billion for black farmers.
When I'm in the White House, you're going to be out there the first week, and I'm gonna get rid of those people in USDA and get that money. That $5 billion is not money that is an entitlement. It's money that was a loan that black farmers were entitled to way back then and was stolen from them through discrimination. You know, you can testify that it was personally stolen from you, and that's what the court found. It was stolen from them.
Well, you know,
And it was given to every other farmer. It was, you know, it was given, if you were white, you got it, but if you were black, you wouldn't get it, and that's wrong. And I don't think anybody who
you asked me
believes in the values of this country thinks that that's a good idea. So, and I'm going to fix that. USDA is broken from the top down. It's not run for small farmers. It's run to benefit big ag. I'll tell you that.
Once again, you get campaign promises, and I don't know how stupid Americans are on every level or every election. I'm going to do this. What? They don't do shit. But again, that's my view with the black community. It doesn't matter if they're farmers or if they're collecting unemployment or welfare. It doesn't make a damn bit of difference. You get a white elitist candidate who slips in and says, I'm going to do this for you. And they swallow it up like crazy and just vote for him this way. So he's another one. There's clips out there of him being anti-Second Amendment. I've seen several other clips of him the last 20 years for shit. But this is how stupid Americans are. They just go where they're emotionally led.
Let's pretend for a second.
We like pretending.
That voting is completely legitimate, right? Let's pretend that your vote actually matters in the way things are going to happen here in the country. Who do you think RFK takes more votes from? Biden or Trump side, the Republican or Democrat side? Who do you think is more likely to vote for this guy in the upcoming election if he is the third? I don't think they're going to let him debate either, but you think Biden?
Biden, but he still has to be on the ballot.
Right. Yeah.
And the states he has to get so many signatures in the state to be put on the ballot.
Right.
And then they're not going to let that happen. So
you don't think so?
No, because even if you do, they're going to be like, "Oh, you didn't get enough signatures."
Yeah, for those,
are you going to count the signatures?
For those
Who's
who are
count
wondering,
the signatures?
For those who are wondering about that policy, I'll explain this right now on a local level. When I ran for Cook County Sheriff, this is the whole ballot process, and it's a fucking joke. I recommend everyone run for office, not only to see who your real friends are, you'll thin the herd real fucking fast, but to watch how broken the system is. In Illinois, Cook County, second largest county in the nation, when I ran for sheriff, it's 5.8 million people. To get on the ballot as a Republican or a Democrat, you need 3,282 signatures. Now, one of the guys who was running against the incumbent Democrat Tom Dart, he got 11,000 signatures. You only needed 3,282. 11,000. They contested his signatures. He was not more than like 12,000 were said, no, these are not valid. And they go from signatures not matching at like, oh, this is illegible. And their own party will wind up funding powers that be that sit there, go through them, and then they get you kicked off the ballot. When I went to the Republicans, I said, I'm running, blah, blah. I was the only announced candidate as a Republican. And I was told, I think his name was Pat Lack, one of the higher ranking Republicans we have out here, said, listen, no, we don't support your run for sheriff because we don't think it's a position we can win. And we don't want to encourage more Democrats to come out to vote. I said, well, I'm running anyways. I was told by them at the Palatine fucking meeting, well, you can run, but we're going to petition to get your signatures knocked off the ballot if you do. I'm like, I'm the only fucking candidate. So that's Republican or Democrat. 3,282. I don't remember exactly how this is, but if you're not an established party, so if you're not a Republican or a Democrat who was in the last election and got on the ballot, you need like 3% of the vote or whatnot. I can't remember exactly what it is. If you run as an independent, which I did then, or libertarian, and the libertarians out here in Illinois, they're fucking goofy as shit, dude. They are so fucked up.
They're like that everywhere.
Oh my God, I met with them. They're stupid.
Yeah.
So you needed 25,000 signatures to get in the ballot. And how they do it is you meet with these people who are ballot collectors and say, listen, how do I do this? Well, it's $2 a signature. What? Yeah, we'll hire these people to go out and knock on the doors, because you can ask for all the volunteers in the world. People say, hey, listen, I'm running. You want change? You want to get me in office? Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to vote for you. Fucking can't vote if I'm not on the ballot. I had probably 10 dedicated people who actually went cold, because there's only a certain window of time between, like, if the election's in November and you want to get on the ballot as an independent, not primary, you can only collect signatures through the end of September and like mid-November. That's it. You needed 75,000, $2 a signature. Do the math. Clearly didn't happen, and it's a fucking joke. So this process, somebody said that's exactly how Obama won the primary, is they used Chicago politics to knock off his competitor off the ballot for going in. It's a fucking joke.
A senator.
Yeah.
A senator.
Oh, is it okay?
Okay. Yeah. Now I ran as a write-in candidate. We just got the word out there and people write me in. You're allowed to do that.
There's requirements to the write-in thing. You have to spell your name correctly.
You have to, yes, correct. Or you can put, and you are allowed to do this, as many
different surnames, names.
Even if you spell it wrong,
right.
we will accept this. And I had like 11 different spellings to my name.
Right.
But I had a billboard out there. I had cards, flyers made up. I had people help me all over social media. And again, within 6 days, I got 8,000 write-in votes. Jeez. And, that's 6 days before announcing I was running. But you can do the write-in. And I think now, again, to Scotty's point, if it's legitimate, I think as a write-in candidate on the local level, if you put your name out there enough with all social media now, you can get popular enough to where you can actually be elected. It's happened already in multiple places.
There's legitimate grassroots movements like that.
You can get written in and win locally. It can happen. Again, with social media and all this stuff, you fuck the signatures. I mean, you can try to get on the ballot, but if you get the word out there to everybody, you have a legitimate chance to win, especially if the Democrat incumbent or whatever is running unopposed.
Yeah.
Because people are going to want an option. And if you're the only option and you're coming out there strong and you got a good message and you make that message resonate with people, you can definitely get elected. It's happened before.
I think if Matt had maybe say another 6 months, things could have been interesting there. But now the guy you ran against is the governor of the state of Pennsylvania, right?
That's you're thinking Josh Shapiro.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The guy I ran against is I can't remember his name. But anyway,
it doesn't matter.
I see what you're saying, Dominic, but I do believe the write-in option is definitely a way to go if you have enough time and you have a good group of people that can put the word out on social media
on a local level.
Until the opposing group comes in and says, no, we're going to do this for you. And so let me buy you X, Y, and Z. That's how it is out here. Chicago, I can't stand it. It's a fucking joke. Every now and then I get the bug to bite again, but I'm like, man, that put my fucking family through hell. I'm not going to do that shit again.
You probably have more of a following now than you did back then, right?
Yeah, but
you're more.
They do like your own party, the Republicans, what they did. So I just declared online one day, fuck it, I'm running for sheriff. Boom. Worldwide or internationally, whatever the social media reach was, huge fucking response. And then all of a sudden, some Republicans came out of the woodwork, saw my popularity, said, hey, I want to manage your campaign. Snake oil salesman, I had no idea how to do this shit. When I went to the Republicans and I talked about getting on the ballot, and they said they would knock me off, I said I had to make a decision and say, all right, I'm going to run as an independent, not as a Republican. I thought that idea would appease more Democrats because, I was getting out a great message and saying, I don't give a shit about the Republican Party. I don't give a shit about the Democrat Party. Republicans, what they did is they slated, after the primary, a current Chicago cop who ran. They said, we're going to put him in, and fuck, he pulled off so much attention from my campaign because at the time I wasn't out a cop, and people were going, Sorry, dude. He's active. He's CPD. He's right in the middle of it. He knows more than you do. This and that. Guy ran for a fucking month, got a bunch of donations, made a bunch of noise, and then said, after talking to my wife, yeah, we've decided it's not the right time to run, and I'm going to be stepping down. And the damage was done. Pulled all that attention from my campaign, went over to him, and Republicans knew exactly what they were doing. So, especially out here in Illinois, Republicans are just as much as fucking scumbags as the Democrats are.
Yep. I would agree with that.
And if you don't play the game they want you to play it, how they want you to play it, they're going to get you out of there. They have no chance. The common guy has no chance.
I met with the district I'm in is Palatine, Illinois. I'm in Hoffman Estates, but it borders Palatine. So the area that I had to go to for like the meetings was Palatine, and I met with the guy who runs it. And he was an elected official for some point in time too. And we met for breakfast, sit right down, and fucking just started grilling the shit out of me. What do you think of this guy? And I would go, no, he's a jagoff. What do you think of this guy? Well, that guy's a fucking jagoff. And I'm like, shit, if I'm not agreeing with you, am I even the candidate for you? So yeah, they vet you right away, whether or not they like you, your policies. They'll pull how you voted. Now, I saw that you voted on this issue. This is how you voted on this. This is how this. It's like, just fucking say you don't care for me. So I went to war with the Republicans.
Allowed to do that?
Yeah, I guess.
You can see how someone voted?
Yeah, like judges, they do that with judges on how they ruled in certain cases. Yeah, I mean, that's why I think you have to be an outsider that hasn't been involved, and you come out with an extreme, no apology message like I did. I said I was going to arrest every single government official that violated the law under COVID, and I brought up BLM riots as well. And that message
really
was clear. I named every law code, every state in the U.S. law code that every government official violated. And I said, I will deputize anyone in my county that's willing to arrest all these motherfuckers with me. They will all be arrested on multiple charges, and I will use force to arrest everybody, even police officers.
Matt even said that if the governor at the time, Governor Wolf, he said if he stepped foot in the county, he goes, I'll arrest him on the spot.
Yep. Multiple charges, and people love that because you had no one saying that.
Yeah,
not one piece of shit governor that was running. I mean, these people. I did public speaking events, Dominic, at these conservative rallies. I did public speaking
at the state
events,
capitol in Harrisburg,
and I would sit there and I'd be like, okay, you all agree this is unconstitutional, against the law. Tell me, all you people who have all the back to blue flags and all this bullshit. I was like, tell me how come your precious blue didn't make one arrest or charge?
Mm-hmm.
No one can answer me.
Yeah.
Oh, they couldn't. I was like, so you're telling me they're pussies or they're in on it? Because it's illegal. You admitted it. These people are just one-dimensional thinkers. These Republicans are one-dimensional. Republican good, Democrat bad. Doesn't matter if they violate your rights like the Democrats do. You got to vote. We got to vote red.
As long as they're wearing the jersey, as long as they're wearing that red jersey with the big R on it, they're on our team. It's like it's sports.
Yeah. At this point, if you call yourself a Republican and are proud of it, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, it was a real joy. Dave Champion, who's out he ran for Nye County same year that I ran, and he went through some horrible shit too. They went after him. He exposed the corruption of the current sheriff in the county, and I think she was a Republican as well too. He was running against her, and fuck, it's when you run, they're so threatened by any proper constitutional ideology on the planet. I sat there and I went, we're just going to go right back to the Constitution. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to blah, blah, blah. No, dude. No, you get crucified because you're not playing with their system. So I encourage everyone run for office at least once in some capacity.
Yeah.
This is what I want to talk to you guys about. Last week I brought this up, but it was with a different guy who sat in the co-pilot seat with me. There was a 10-year-old boy last week who killed himself. And I've already talked about it, but I want both of you guys are, married. Scott, you've got kids. Matt and I don't. But I saw this article about this young kid, 10 years old, kills himself after getting incessantly bullied. 20 times the parents went to the school. And I am a fan of bullying. I got bullied in high school, and it made me step up to the plate. I got bullied in grammar school, decided to start wrestling. And then all of a sudden my life fucking changed because I actually found my balls. Where are we in this day and age where a 10-year-old kills himself and we don't hold the parents accountable? And Scott, I'll get your opinion on this first, because I don't know. But if you have a son and he's getting bullied in school, you go to the school 20 times, say this and that, your kid offs himself, should we be looking at you going, the fuck did you do or not do as a parent that put your kid in a position to kill himself? I don't know how a 10-year-old does this, to be honest, because you have that, the concept of you can't drown yourself or hold your breath to death. Your body will fight to prevent from expiring. I don't know how a 10-year-old looks and says, oh, look, a bottle of pills, I'm going to swallow out of them. Or if he took his father's gun or whatnot. They don't say the method of what he did it. But what is the response?
How did he kill himself?
I don't know.
I'm looking. I can't find it either.
I'm really curious, but I want to know.
He's a minor. They don't have to show.
I really am thinking that this was a product of a really weak father and an overbearing mother who probably did the whole, oh, baby, it's okay kind of mentality and reinforced his. I'm blaming the parents basically for this. Am I right, wrong, or indifferent when it comes down to this concept of bullying is bad? Don't pressure test your kids. Don't teach boys to be men through adversity, all this shit. I want to talk to you guys about this because this is a nonstop issue that's never going to go away in our society.
Sure. I think it's fair, Dominic, to hold the parents accountable. Partly in this situation, maybe majority of the responsibility is on them, because at some point after, let's say my son, I have an 8-year-old who's autistic actually, and he's nonverbal. But if he came home and tried to communicate or had bruises or something on him, the first step would probably be go to the school, talk to the administrator or talk to the teacher, see what's going on, and ask, hey, my son or daughter's being bullied. These are the other students that he's named. I'd like for you to address it before I do. I think the next step, if it continues, would be me going to the other parents and saying, listen, your son or daughter is bullying my child to the point where it's causing him a lot of grief, and there's some real mental health things going on here. So I would appreciate if you would control your child. Now, if it continues to happen, then I become the bully, and I go to the dad of the other child, and it's Suplex City, motherfucker. And that's German suplex. That's how you handle that. Those were the steps. Now, in this situation, you're looking at they went to the school and complained 20 times. I'm looking at an article here from the New York Post, trusting that this is the truth. You're looking at 20 different complaints to the school. At some point, the parents they should have taken some preventative measures here to either go and address the parents of these other students, or pull their kid from the school immediately and just say, hey, we're just going to homeschool here. So yeah, of course, a good majority of the responsibility here, I believe, does fall on the parents. Dominic, I don't think you're off by saying that.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Scotty here. Of course, if 20 times, 20 complaints, I wouldn't have let it go that far. I would have had me and a couple of my buddies put on ski masks and beat the fuck out all the school administrators, the teachers involved. They can't identify me. I wouldn't kill them because now it's a murder case, but I would beat the literal fuck out of them, so hopefully hospitalize them. And then I would go to the dad's house. I would beat the fuck out of him in the same way, baseball bats, Joe Pesci style in casino, beat the hell out of him, ski mask, can't identify me. And then I would beat the son up too,
depending on the
bats and everything. Everyone will be hurt. Violence for everybody. And you wouldn't be able to find me because I would put myself incognito.
Right.
Again, you don't kill anybody, but violence 100%. And that's it, but that's the bottom line. And I think that would solve the problem.
We have a reoccurring theme.
Why?
It's a reoccurring theme. Violence is the answer. I mean, it's as simple as that. Violence is the answer.
History has proven that violence is always the answer, but however,
it's the final answer.
It is the final answer.
Final answer. And see, that's the thing. We've talked about this on multiple podcasts. We addressed it was actually, I believe, a speech or an essay called "Violence is Gold"
by Jack Donovan,
and the author of it is a masculine philosopher. His name's Jack Donovan, and it's the truth. And there's another book called Might is Right by Arthur Desmond.
Yep.
And it's every single problem throughout history eventually will come down to might is right. Now, you can try for a very long time to handle things diplomatically, but eventually, if you have two opposing sides and they can't come to some sort of agreement here, then there's got the solution is always might is right. Whether you look at wars, conflicts throughout time and history, the Civil War, hey, the North and the South, it can't come to any type of civil agreement here on things. Well, what's going to happen is, hey, if I kill you, I win. If you kill me, you win. That's how this goes.
Yep.
And that's how it goes throughout history, throughout time. You name it.
That's why we had dueling. Dueling was a way for two men to figure out their problems. Back in the day, they used to do sword fights.
Yeah, we need to
guns,
bring that shit
right?
back,
I mean,
man.
they need to bring that back. But what happens is to your point, it's a multifaceted problem. The school fucked up initially, right? Bullying has been happening since the beginning of time, right? Now it's worse now, Dominic, because you have social media and you can bully people on a grand spectrum. So it's worse in that aspect. And if that happens, I mean, violence has to be taken. If you cannot go to the school and they can't fix it, you can't go to the parents and they can't fix it, violence is the answer. Where's the lie, Scott?
No lies detected. I'm looking at the lie detector here, and it's 100% truth what Matt's saying. But here's the thing, too, is a boy like that, it doesn't seem he was healthy. It doesn't seem like he had any physical disabilities. You should, here's a lesson to parents out there. Get your kids involved in sports at a very young age. It gives them confidence. It gives them what they need inside to be able to push back against some stuff like this. But Dominic, I will agree with you. I think to a certain extent, bullying can be good, especially fat shaming. I think fat shaming absolutely works.
Preach. Fucking the only problem I have with bullying is the social media type bullying where stay out of the comment section, right? You get the anonymous people, all this shit. You can get mass swarm bullying, all that crap. If you don't read them, it's not an issue whatsoever. I took heat for this. In 2017, 2018, there was a kid who had a hair lip and he was in the front seat of his car and he's crying and his mom is recording him because fucking I don't get these women. I don't get these women who will videotape their kids crying and having fits for clout and empathy and sympathy. They're the fucking problem. But this kid is up online talking about, I don't understand why they're bullying me, this and that. All of a sudden you see NBA players, donate to this kid. They want to take him on the floor. Yeah. And I said, bullshit. What this kid? He
was the bully.
Yes. I said, what this kid
ended up being.
Dude,
yep.
I got crucified online. How dare you? And then a week or two later, it comes out I was right. I'm like, fuck you. So this 10-year-old, I don't give a shit. I want to know what he did to contribute to this crap. What? Because you don't come out of nowhere and be like, okay, well, you do. There are times when you fucking do it. But if he do not remove the factor and responsibility of saying, okay, let's break this down. What are you being bullied for? Why? Blah, 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 blah. Every parent needs to go, listen, if you did something to start this, let's talk about this for a second. So they don't fucking do that either. It blows me away.
That's fair. And I got a good story here real quick. The fat shaming thing, I have a friend of mine. Matt knows him. I'll tell you who it is after the show. But for years, we had a nickname for him. We called him Tubby. And one day I just said to him, man, I go, look, you're a fucking waste. You're 6'2". You have genetics here that could be really good, but you sit on your ass and you play Call of Duty and you eat Cheetos and Oreos all the time. I said, you could be something. You could be something. You could build yourself into something. You're still a young guy. You're in your 20s. You should be in the gym. You should be eating right. You'll feel better. You'll look better. You'll have more confidence. And I would call him fat ass from time to time. Like, look how fat you are. You're out of breath walking up fucking steps. Come on, man. And here today, the guy now with a little help of some gear, he got himself into really good shape. He looks great, feels great. Guy just got married. I'm proud to say that all those years of fat shaming, he's thanked me for it. He's been like, dude, thank you so much for giving me shit over the years. I appreciate that because it motivated me to get my ass into fucking gear. And there it is.
Yep. See, it works.
Yeah, Keaton Jones was the name of that kid from Knoxville, Tennessee. And he took a fucking beating when it came down to being exposed. Fuck that little piece of shit. This is where we're headed. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say your guest you had on Alan on the evening rants. I really liked him. I agreed with what he said. He's very. I think he's very honest and brutally honest, kind of like we are. And I actually enjoyed that podcast I watched with you and him.
That's why I connected you guys up, because that's fucking dynamite waiting to happen. This is kind of what sparked this. This is an influencer. I'm not going to give him credit who he is. This is some of the common mindsets of men today. This is an influencer who teaches men financial, masculine shit like that. This is his own words. I'm being asked, should every man know how to fight?
Man know how to fight?
I don't really know how to fight.
Why couldn't you defend yourself?
No, I'd run. I think it's stupid. You would never really get into a fight. Like, if you did get into a fight, you should always just run. Why take that risk? There's nothing good that can come out of it. Either you're gonna get hurt or you're gonna hurt someone else. Why? Just run. But if you can't run, then give them what they want. Diffuse the fight at all costs. I don't believe in violence. I've gotten beat up before, like punched in the face. I was just in school in the UK. I went to a public school, and like kids were just like real mean. I was different, and they would just pick on me and like bully me. If my son comes home one day and he's beaten up, probably gonna homeschool or private school.
Here's what I'm thankful for when it comes down to guys like this. When they put it up online, when the world goes to shit, we know whose house to go to take their food and anything else they have, because those motherfuckers don't stand a chance. So I'm very thankful for this shit when it comes down to these people. Sadly, this is a women. This is a mother issue, and I started noticing this in the late '90s, or early '90s, when I graduated high school in '93. The following year, a buddy of mine were driving past the high school, and he played football. I did not. I was a wrestler, and he said he got wind that the parents, and I'm 100% attributing this to the moms in my former high school, got together and said, the first 2 weeks of football practice, which was the end of August, when it's hot outside, the kids, they no longer wanted their children, their boys, to run outside because that was just too stressful on their bodies. So the coaches, the school caved in, and they canceled outdoor practice for conditioning. And then since then, we saw the participation awards and all that shit. I blame women on this. And I had a woman today who I did a real response to that. And she goes, yeah, I said, because this is a masculine thing. Men need to know how to fight. It's like a vegan who eats meat for the first time, or a virgin who has pussy. When you fight, you're like, oh my God, this is simultaneously the most horrible and greatest thing I've ever gone through, because you realize you could take a beating, what you could do to another human being, and how it's just indescribable. Fighting is fucking indescribably glorious. And this woman's, I understand this is a woman. I know. No, you fucking don't. So I commented back on her. Well, I took a massive shit today, so that means I know what the emotional side and the
childbirth feels like.
It goes from childbirth on that. So, I mean, is this a rite of passage for us men fighting? How this guy's going to fucking teach his son how to run? Fuck. I think we're fucked in this. And I blame women. That's just my 2 cents.
Well, what does that say about the men if they're not standing up to the women, if the women are the ones controlling it? Seems like the men are worse. At least the women, whether you do agree or disagree with what they're saying, the women are taking charge and the men aren't doing anything about it.
Yeah, you see a lot of that in households, though, where, I mean, we've talked about this, Dominic, you and I, on previous podcasts, where you see these marriages where the husband's like, I got to check in with the boss, the boss. And it's like, all right, come on. But, again, competition is good. I think Moms for America has ruined things, specifically speaking, with the military. The boot camp, when I was in 2001, I went through boot camp. We would hear things about Moms for America. They would write their senators and write their congressmen and say, my Johnny's being treated poorly by that drill instructor down in Paris Island. And he called him bad words, and he called him a faggot, and he called him a little pussy boy. And I don't think that should be part of the training. And then the senator would reach out to, the training officer at Paris Island and say, hey, this is going on. They're hazing. They're doing this. Now, granted, you can find some things that the Marine Corps did throughout time that, there's an article I'll send you, Dominic, after this podcast. It's hilarious. It was a drill instructor at Paris Island put a recruit in one of those big dry tires and turned it on, and it was a Muslim kid, and he kept calling him a terrorist. But the thing is, and that's, hey, that maybe have gone a little too far there, but regardless, a lot of that stuff toughens people up.
Yeah.
And we've talked, Matt, about having thick skin, being able to handle things. And it's good. You build a callus on yourself and your mind and on your soul there, where you can take like bad words. You called me racist. Oh no, you called me a homophobe. Well, no, I guess I better shut up about how I feel then. Nah, no thanks.
Double down. But I feel my point, Scotty. Who's more the bitch that complains, or the male senator that agrees with it and wants to do something about it? Who's more of the cunt?
The male senator.
That's what I'm saying.
100%.
At the end of the day,
right?
A cunty woman's going to be a cunty woman. Okay,
right.
If she's going to be that protective, weak, woman,
right?
What does that say about the man in the authority position who, and then take active measures to promote her policies?
Right. Right.
Who's more of a bitch?
You're absolutely right. I mean, in the household, that was how God or the universe intended things to be, where the man is the head of the household. The woman shouldn't. That's a big problem. You look across that today. You look in the Black community, the single parent home, and the majority of single parent homes in the Black community are mom is running the show there because the dad got out of town. It's a joke and stereotype, but it's accurate. That's why stereotypes are there. There's an accuracy to it. And also, too, a lot of these times that the feminist movement has caused a lot of these boss bitch women that has taken control of the home, and no guy wants to deal with them. That's why you see these guys going, oh, fuck this, I'm out of here. It's a problem. It's a problem in the household. It's a problem in the home. You see even in leadership like this, where the women here,
you see it from Biden.
Control of the home.
Biden deflects when he first got in office. I can't remember his exact words, but he alluded to Kamala Harris being in charge. It's like, stop playing. He just said at some speech yesterday, talking for single men who are going to get marry into a household that's got four daughters, because you'll always find one that agrees with you and has your back and loves you. It's like, shut the fuck up, dude. Speaking of military, I don't know if you guys saw this one. Thanks to John Burke for posting this. And I'll put it up on the screen here for you.
Have you seen this? I sent it to you.
Yeah.
Saw it.
Okay.
You saw it.
Well, this is for our viewing audience to enjoy. Oh, the caption says, when they call and say jets are inbound and I need to land them. And this is a member of the U.S. Navy on an aircraft carrier.
Don't just stand there, let's get to it. Strike the pose, there's nothing 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 to it. Strike the pose, 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 strike the pose. Strike the pose, there's nothing to it.
So when I was a cop, in 2015, we had it was a very famous case called the G.I. Joe Glenowitz case. Cop is shot by 3 people, and we had this giant manhunt for fucking 2 months, and it turned out that he actually killed himself, and it was a big embezzlement, and it was all over the media, and they've done like 20 episodes about it, and there's a lot to the story that people just don't fucking know of how corrupt it was. And in that time, I picked up Facebook had just had the live feature start, and I did a 5-minute video on what it really means when you thank a cop. I just felt this compulsion. I'm in my personal vehicle. I'm in uniform because I had just pulled up to the police department, start my tour, and the video goes fucking viral. I get like 500,000 views in a day. And it was because I had felt this need to tell people what it meant to us, because the community was going, thanks for your service. Everybody was on edge. People were really pro-police then. So that's when the Officer Dominick Izzo persona started on social media. And I would do law enforcement color commentary in uniform. It was never in my squad. It was also always in my personal vehicle before or after shift. After I started to grow in popularity, a department policy known as the Izzo policy was created, where no uniform, no identifiable police emblems, no generic police emblems. You cannot do this in duty whatsoever, blah, blah, blah. Officer Tommy Norman went through that. One of the most famous personas on social media who does more for the community than anybody else. His department came down. The guy has millions and millions and millions of people following him. You can't do this in uniform. You fast forward to today, this is not gay. This guy's a fag in our military. Don't get me wrong, dude. When Vogue comes on, I might be voguing. There's a possibility behind the scenes I might be voguing. I don't give a shit who says what, especially if I'm in the shower. You don't do this in military on your fucking aircraft carrier while you're deployed or on duty. Where the hell are we? We deserve to be invaded, bombed, and destroyed.
Well, this is just it, Dominic, and we talked about this last week. Number one, that video is a complete, accurate representation of America. And that goes for our military and the collective persona of everybody in this country. A bunch of fucking faggots. And guess what, Dominic? Who the fuck's going to do anything about that?
Clearly not command staff. Command staff.
Nobody's going to do a fucking thing about it. Trump won't do anything about it. He holds up the LGBT pride flag on stage. He tells everybody in his audience when he ran for president that Caitlyn Jenner, also known as Bruce Jenner, can use any bathroom he wants in his hotels. This is America. And get no charges. Okay, but you sit there and you take down the statue of fucking Satan in the Iowa State House, and then you get charged with a hate crime felony?
Yep.
This is where we're at, and no one does anything about it? Yeah. America is a fucking gay disco. The whole country is a big shopping mall / gay disco. Everybody, they should change the flag to a fucking rainbow fucking dildo is what they should do, because no one does anything about it.
Right.
And they accept this, and only some people on the right, well, this is fucked up. This is bad. Okay, what are you going to do about it?
Right.
What are you going to do about it?
Weimar conditions require Weimar solutions. But here's the thing is, we tolerate too much, we let too much go, and eventually that whole stance of I just want to be left alone, go ahead, do whatever, eventually you see it now, it's catching up to us now as a country, where the only way this works, and one of our founders, John Adams, the second president of the United States of America, said this: the only way this works is for a moral and religious people. That's the only way this is going to work, because our greatest strength is also our greatest weakness, and that's the First Amendment.
Yep.
The ability to say and do whatever you want, and eventually that's going to catch up to us, because they disguise this evil and this moral degradation as freedom of speech, freedom of whatever, and eventually, if we keep on letting it go, it's going to get worse and worse. We're already at a point here where it's horrible, and as Matt said so eloquently, yes, recently there were two Senate staffers that were butt fucking on the Senate floor.
Yep.
Now,
what happened?
If I remember correctly, January 6th, they got off, nothing happened, they weren't charged with anything. But the whole idea with January 6th, that being an insurrection, and also those grounds are hollow grounds and they're sacred. They had these people in there, and that's what they were saying at the time, was that's the Senate floor, that's the Congress. You can't defile those grounds. Well, they defiled those grounds, and nobody gave a shit about those two.
Did he give him a reach around for consideration? That's what I want to know. He's gonna be spilling his seat on fucking, hopefully, Amy Klobuchar's fucking seat. Oh my God.
Yeah, but listen, you remember? I know you guys remember this. There was a policy in the military. It was called the "Don't Ask, Don't Tell" policy. Yep. And I couldn't ask you if you were gay, and you couldn't tell me. And if it came out and you said, "Hey, I am gay, and this is my boyfriend," you would get a other than honorable discharge or a general discharge. You wouldn't get an honorable one. You wouldn't get an honorable one. They would just say, "Hey, please pack your bags and leave." Now, who signed that? Do people remember this? Who signed the "Don't Ask, Don't Tell" policy?
Was that Obama?
Clinton, wasn't it?
It was Bill Clinton.
Oh.
It was a Democrat. Bill Clinton signed that in the 90s into office. He also signed the Defense of Marriage Act, meaning that marriage was only between a man and a woman. That was a Democrat as well. And when you look back at it, that Democrat, Bill Clinton, as Matt said early in this podcast, everybody's moved farther and farther to the left. If Bill Clinton was in office today, that Bill Clinton from 92 to 2000, and he signed the Defense of Marriage Act, and he signed the "Don't Ask, Don't Tell" policy, That would be a Republican. You would look at him as a Republican. And here we are moving further and further and further to the left.
There's tons of video of Biden out there defending and holding his position on, no, marriage is between a man and a woman. And now look at him. So they do whatever they're told.
All said that. Obama said it. Yeah. Hillary Clinton said it. You can find the video. You can go on YouTube. You can see it in debates. But that's I can go on and on about this.
We just got to vote Republican, Dominic.
Isn't that going to solve it all?
Trump will save us.
Isn't that going to save it all? Daddy Trump will swoop in, and then everything will be okay, and all this shit, and blah, 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 blah. I'm hoping that...
Violence. It's the only way. We're going to get arrested. Well, I'm not. I'm going out.
Yeah, but think about it. You got a fortified structure. You know, if you've seen The Walking Dead, they commandeered a prison and stayed in there, and they were all safe. Yeah. You know, 3 square meals a day, air conditioning. I don't know if it's air conditioning, maybe in general population, but shit.
No,
fuck, whatever like that.
I'm hoping for the zombie apocalypse because I'm going to go around find the people I hate that are not turned yet and shoot them in the head and be like, oh, another one for the fire.
What do you guys got coming up on the Burn Pit podcast?
Matt, yesterday filmed a great podcast with a former Senate candidate. His name's Sam Parker. He's big on Twitter. He ran against Mitt Romney in the state of Utah years ago. Yep. He's very good. We got another guy coming up next week. We're going to be filming a recorded episode with Jeremy Edelman. He is a former Olympic bobsledder for the country of Israel. So we're going to have a nice debate.
He took issue with some things I had to say, Dom.
He didn't like the pile of shoes comment, apparently.
That's it. Fuck him and his pile of shoes. All right, kids, that's it. Monday. Don't forget to check out the Burn Pit podcast Mondays at 4 p.m. Eastern on Spreely Media. Go support the Burn Pit podcast on social media as well, too. Tomorrow. I think I got a surprise guest tomorrow. I got to call and make sure she's going to be joining. All right, guys, you have a great damn day. Go to Spreely.com. Check out everything we have to offer, from social media to news articles to all the fucking good stuff that's available to you. And you know what? Don't raise fucking pussies. Let your kids get bullied and either sink or swim. Hopefully they won't kill themselves. I don't know.
Violence.
All right, yeah. Go help somebody today. If you can't help them, bully them. I'll see you guys tomorrow.